Hi everyone, I'm Xander Ng and I'm back for another episode of The Food Story. On this week's episode, we're looking to the future. What are the current food trends in the market? What are the key players, where the innovation is happening? And as a consumer, what do you need to look out for? So please join me for this delicious episode ahead. I can't wait. Consumers are becoming increasingly health conscious, so the demand for functional food and beverages is on the rise. Tapping onto this trend, there is Asmara, a health drink company that is using traditional ingredients with their known health benefits and marrying this together with modern techniques and science at the core. Today I'm going to be meeting with the co-founders, Ramesh and David. We're going to be talking about the drinks which they currently have and which consumers can get and what's on the roadmap for this dynamic duo. Let's go meet them. I'm joined now with the team behind Asmara. We've got Ramesh and David. Thanks for having me, guys. So Ramesh, I've actually done a little bit of research and I found out that you actually used to work at a F&B company, a drinks company, on the research side. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Can you maybe tell me a little bit about that role? And sort of was it there that the seed was planted to go ahead and open Asmara?
So actually what happened was the inspiration to start Asmara started way back over in 2015 when I was actually doing my master's degree. So my main area of focus was actually on herbs. So I was trying to bridge science along with traditional Chinese, Malay and also Indian herbs that is commonly used in our traditional practice, right? So while in the process of doing those research, it was very enlightening to know how much the science was missing in some of these herbs. And that's when I got an inspiration that I really love working with functional or very novel ingredients.
So I've seen just some of the lists of ingredients that go into some of these juices, and the list is very long. For one of them, there was it 30 ingredients?
33 different herbs, yeah.
My God, and I would struggle to even name 33 right now if you put me on the spot. So why the long list? Sort of why? I mean, you're coming clearly from a science background now, so I'm sure everything's there for a reason. But can you maybe just explain, like, what is the thought process that goes behind that?
So like I mentioned, what was very key for us is there's a lot of berry drink out there. If you go to the supermarket, there's at least about 20 or 30 types of berry drink out there. Yeah. Same thing, there's lemongrass drink, there's a lot of rose tea and many common drinks out there as well. But what was really, and if you want to get traditional herbal drink, it's also very readily available, right? But what was actually missing was evidence-based or science-based herbalism as per se, or bringing herbs inside. So each of the drink, when we craft it, is very important for us that the ingredients we actually choose have some science behind it. For an example, the one with 33 different herbs. We know turmeric is very good for health. It's one of the most...
that one we know.
Yes, yeah. But very unfortunately, it has a very poor bioavailability, meaning to say it doesn't get absorbed into the body. So a topical application of turmeric does have an effect, but consuming raw turmeric or cooked turmeric, the absorption rate is very poor. So that's where we bring the science back in. We incorporate 3 different types of pepper, which has an active compound called pepperin, which increases the absorption rate of turmeric to a certain degree as well. So that's how we bring the science back into tradition as well. So each of the drink has a story behind it, and a functional behavior or functional property to each of the ingredients we incorporate, like addition of prebiotics in all of the drinks, which is pretty clinically studied as well.
When you were mentioning turmeric and how there's an unfortunate, I thought you were going to say unfortunate taste sometimes when consumed raw and in a large quantity, which is why whenever I've seen turmeric used in a drink, in a smoothie, or however you want to do it, normally you need a little bit of something.
That's right.
To help sort of round it off.
Yeah. So as food scientists, you brought up the most important point, which was the flavor note. So if the 33 herbs on their own taste extremely bad. And what we have done is we actually incorporated lemongrass, pandan, as the base flavor to actually mask off the flavor. If I were to remove the pandan out, the flavor changes drastically. So, and if I remove the lemongrass, the flavor also goes, it offsets the flavor as well.
What are you looking to do moving forward? Like, are there certain ingredients or certain sort of health trends, things that are coming up now that you want to integrate, say, in your next drink?
So it's what we realize is that the trend in the food industry is changing very quickly, right? The trends are also changing very quickly, and we have to keep up as well, right? So at the same time, our main focus, like I mentioned, is bringing science back into food, or science back into tradition. That's our main core. So we have already developed up to 6 products. So the 6 products will be in powder range. It's going to be a versatile powder range. We have one for immunity, one for stress, and one for antioxidant, and then another one is more for energy and vitality as well. So there are combination of different types of herbs. So all the range will have what we call symbiotics added to them, which is probiotics with prebiotics in there.
Right.
Yeah. So and this is going to be a versatile powder. Means you can add it to almost anything. If you're making a soup, a pasta dish, to your milk, to your coffee, to any beverage or dish that you're having, you can just simply add it in and consume it as it is.
And for everybody at home, consumers out there who would like to try some of these products, where can they get their hands on these things?
So you can actually easily get them in quite a few places. We are available in Sedali restaurants, in almost all online platforms, RedMart, Lazada, FitLion as well.
Okay.
Right, and most shopping centers in Orchard and in Suntec area actually carries the product as well.
Next, we shift our focus to one man's mission to brew the world's oldest beverage sustainably with bread. And I'll be honest, okay, I've had a pint or 2, all right, in my day, but this concept of using bread sustainably to produce beer is completely foreign to me. So let's go meet the guys behind Crust Brewery and just hear what they have to say, and of course try their beer. Let's go. I'm here with Travin and Ben from Crust Brewing. Guys, first and foremost, please tell me how you've managed to use bread in the brewing process, and tell me about your brewing.
Okay, so I basically homebrew as a hobby, and I was just doing a bit of research in terms of the origins of beer. And I came across a couple of articles and documentaries whereby actually states that the preservation of bread was one of the first few ways of making beer. Yeah, it's also because it's essentially the same ingredients, like grains, wheat, and water, right, and yeast. I'm sorry. Yeah. So then I did a couple of homebrew batches. Filled a couple of times. So Ben actually tried the beer as well. Yeah. So it was really quite bad. Then I traveled to the States in January just to learn commercially from them for about a month. Came back in February 2019, and then incorporated the company in April, and then got our first product into the market in September last year.
Fantastic. And versus a traditional beer, right, and that brewing method and what goes into it, right? So your malted barley, you mentioned your brewer's yeast, single hop, multi-hop, blend of hop. I put hop in at whatever time, all that kind of stuff, right? How does this differ when you start using bread as well?
Like I mentioned, it's actually essentially the same ingredients. So basically all I do is I replace about 30% of my grain bill with bread. Just to extract the sugars out of it.
Okay. Yeah. And tell me about the bread. So where are you getting this bread from? And you don't have a bakery as well, right? Obviously. So I don't even have a brewery. A brewery, okay.
So we are working with Maison Kaiser Singapore. It's a French-Japanese cross-breed bakery in Singapore. Yeah, so I think they have about 4 or 5 outlets. So we're using their white bread right now.
This is their surplus white bread that is otherwise going to go to waste though.
So every single bakery, or rather I'll say most bakeries actually have a tons of surplus bread. Yeah, so
no, definitely. I've heard of this as well.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah. So so we're using truly surplus bread.
Well, thanks so much, guys, sharing about your brewery and what you're doing. It's really an awesome concept, I just have to say. But I'm truly parched. I've just been watching the two of you slowly sip and enjoy your beers here. So can I have a try myself?
Yeah, I'm going to let you try from the draft.
From the draft? Yeah. Draft is always better. Let's go. Come on. So this brings us to the end of the food story. I hope you've enjoyed these past 2 web series as much as I've had. Meeting all the exhibitors was truly insightful, and it was fantastic seeing sustainable ways which people were producing fruit and vegetables here in Singapore, as well as innovation which is being used to meet the current demands. I'm Xander Ng, and I'll see you all very soon.